Hi, Paul Schwinghammer, 2022 IBA State President, also President of Hallmark Homes. I want to speak to you just a little bit because there's some confusion, I think, on the new IBA franchise fee method for dues. So a couple of years ago, we've decided as leadership of the IBA that the current dues structure was not working, primarily because we didn't have enough members to meet the IBA budget. So what was happening every year is IBA was having to dig into reserves of about $100,000 or so per year just in order to meet its budget obligations. So the leadership got together and modeled this after another state's program called the franchise fee method. And how this basically works is we took the membership of your local and all the locals and said, okay, on this specific date, which I believe was September 30th of 2020, however many members you have, we will take that number of members, multiply it by the $220 IBA dues annually, and that would be your quote unquote franchise fee. So that was then fixed for the next 4 years. So every year from 2020 September to this year, or I'm sorry, next year, 2024 in September, you would be based on the membership you had as of 2020. So every year you would meet that obligation as your franchise fee. Now, if you lost members from that period, it didn't matter. You would still be charged for the number of members you had as of September 30th, 2020. If you gained members, you were able to keep that money. So if you went from, say, 20 members to 25 members, the extra $220 per member you would be able to keep in your bank account. So it's very critical to maintain your membership and increase your membership in order to meet your franchise fee obligation. A lot of the confusion comes in with what's called the excess allocation. And as I mentioned earlier, IBA was running a deficit budget every year. So if we had $100,000 negative budget, we would have to bring that out of reserves. So this franchise fee allocation basically takes the budget for the year of IBA, and we know what the franchise fee allocation is going to be. So we know as IBA staff how much we're going to be able to get from each local. But what we don't know is how we're going to make up that differential. So that's where the excess allocation comes in. So for simplicity's sake, if IBA is in a shortfall of $100,000 and each local had 20 members, then there would be a $5,000 allocation per local. Now, as we know, not all locals have 20, some have 100, some have 200. But it was determined that the fairest way to make up this excess allocation was to charge each local the same amount. So this puts a real struggle on smaller locals such as Howard County, Kokomo, also Madison County, where my home base is. And so for a small local to make up the excess allocation of that $5,000 example, it becomes very difficult to do. So there's a couple of ways of doing that. One of which is taking out of your reserves and paying that $5,000 excess allocation, which most small locals don't have in reserves. We understand that. So the other way is to increase membership. So get another 20 members in your organization to make up that $5,000 deficit, or do a combination of things, such as get some more members, have some fundraising efforts such as a home show, a homeorama, a bake sale, chili cook-off, some sort of contest, whether it be a best of 2023 home or remodeling project, and have entry fees. I mean, there's all kinds of ways locals can and need to raise money in order to make up their excess allocation. But there is also a way to get that waived. So let's say as a small local, you can't simply raise the $5,000. Maybe you can raise $3,000 of it, but you're still short $2,000. So instead of assessing each of your members extra money, you can ask for forgiveness every fall through IBA for part or all of your excess allocation. And the IBA leadership take a look at your records, your bank accounts, also want to know what you've done to try and make up for the excess allocation for that year, and then make a determination. Yes, we're going to grant Howard County full relief of their $5,000, or partial relief because they're only asking for partial relief, or maybe partial relief because the staff feels like, well, they have some money in the bank, they can pay part of it, but we'll absorb the rest. So, as I mentioned before, IBA was already absorbing 100% of the shortfall prior to this franchise fee method. But currently, this method allows them to get that excess over budget amount from the majority of the locals without any problem. Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, Northeastern Indiana, some of those locals, Southwestern Indiana, a lot of those locals are large. They don't have a problem making up that example of the $5,000 shortfall. So the smaller locals struggle. We understand that, but we also know that it is important to try to make up that difference. Now, what we've done in Madison County, we were also looking down there at merging with Baggy. You guys are looking at merging with Bagel in Lafayette. But we felt it was important to maintain a local in our area. And the reason is we understand that a lot of the builders and remodelers in our area are not going to drive to Indianapolis to go to meeting with hundreds of members. They're going to lose that kind of community feel that we've had for almost 70 years in Madison County as a local. So they've started some membership drives. We've almost doubled our membership down there. They're really getting involved with the Build Your Future campaign. They're getting involved with a home show coming up that's going to help raise money to make up the excess allocation and, frankly, put money in the coffers. Currently, we don't have an EO that's on staff. We have volunteer EO, which makes it difficult, but we're hoping that we can get enough members, raise enough money to get an EO, to keep the books, to help with recruiting efforts, mailings, communication, newsletters, etc. Another thing we do at Madison County to raise money is we have a mail publication or an email publication that has sponsors. A lot of our realtor members sponsor that newsletter, other utility companies, but there's lots of ways to get members, as you know. Title companies, insurance companies, material suppliers, excavators, gravel suppliers, trucking companies, asphalt companies. Anybody that services our industry is right to be a member, because frankly, the work that IBA does every day on the legislative front is incredible to help keep housing affordable. And that's really the goal of IBA, is to keep housing affordable, because without housing affordability, we're all out of work, right? So keep the pedal to the metal when it comes to recruiting. I encourage you to maintain a local presence, because I'm just really afraid that not only your builder members going to drop out, you're going to lose all your affiliate members and associate members, your title companies, your insurance companies, et cetera, that may only work in Howard and your surrounding area. And they will not be feeling like they're going to belong to Bagel. So I can't speak enough about maintaining a local presence. I think Marcy DeShong, who's also from Madison County and a remodeler, is secretary of IBA this year, is also going to speak to our efforts down there and the importance of maintaining your local presence in Howard County. So I wish you the best of luck with whatever you decide, and certainly appreciate all your support of the Howard County local IBA and the NAHB as well. Thank you.